next presentation. In fact, Mr. Mishra, we would trouble you to stay back with us on stage because we have Mr. Mishra coming up next. Cloud computing is the best way forward for enterprise, but confusion often lies whether you need to adopt private or public cloud. Often you need both, given the nature of your business. To take this session on leveraging hybrid clouds to achieve maximum efficiency and productivity, I would like to invite Mr. Nitin Mishra, Senior Vice President, Product Management, NetMagic. Please get your hands together, ladies and gentlemen, for Mr. Mishra as he joins us on stage.
Good afternoon, everybody. A very good afternoon to everybody. Okay. So, next 15 minutes, I'm going to really, I think, take you on a short journey. We will talk about a little bit on how really one can leverage digitalization, how enterprise can really benefit. What are the areas where, you can focus on, where, what are the new technologies apart from SMAC, which are really coming up. So I recently came across a very short, interesting piece of information. I think all of us know Thomas Friedman, right? So I think there is a message going on. So who haven't read it yet? I think he recently was speaking and he mentioned to the audience that when he was a child, his parents used to tell him that kindly finish your, whatever food is there in your dish, you need to finish it, because think of the child in India who's starving, right? So you don't leave anything on your dish. Today, Friedman says, I tell my children, please do your homework, because just think of the child in India who's studying hard and is becoming CEO of your American companies. So if you want to keep your job, if you don't want to starve yourself, do your homework. So the world has changed, right? Clearly, in so many years, almost 25 years, and the world has come a full circle. I think we ourselves, I think NetMagic, we started off around in 2000 with our first operational data center, and that was a time when it was a .com was really booming and things like that. It went through a burst, and obviously then the whole thing has moved from just putting your data, servers into your data centers to today, the whole cloud kind of a paradigm. So if you really look at it, maybe some of this I will move a little faster but I want to still highlight as a backgrounder to my future slides. So this digital transformation is very real. I think most of the people we spoke are the traditional enterprises who have used IT and digitization just to automate their systems, right? But we have seen a lot of companies whose whole business is defined around the IT, right? Whether it's a taxi for sure, their whole business is the app which they have developed and helped all the people, whether it's a taxi driver, to connect to a consumer through this application. So clearly, it's much more powerful today in terms of the way the digital transformation is driving the business. I think there have been restaurants so many years around, right? But Fasus or the Food Panda have completely transformed, and their core is just the IT, right? The digital IP and how they have really leveraged it in today's world. Secondly, obviously, I think enough has been spoken about the whole mobile thing, and I think India is the most ahead because we directly, jumped onto the smartphones from feature phones. There's a huge amount of adoption, and since there was no broadband in deeper India, I think people just were so happy and they jumped onto smartphones pretty quickly, and that is how it's become a very powerful tool for people to reach out. And that is where we see some of our customers, for example, Myntra has moved completely mobile, right? They no more sell their apparels and things like that. They don't e-commerce on a website, but everything is onto mobile. So that is really the whole power that comes in. Thirdly, I think the users, the way you engage has completely changed. I think people, our work style, everything, we are 24/7 available. We are always connected. And lastly, although it may look like data centers, I belong to that industry, consumes a lot of power. I recently heard the statistics that in developed nations, almost 10% of power is actually now getting consumed by all the data centers put together. Could be third party, could be for internal use, for government use, and things like that, right? But if you look at how does it then help to save cost, right? But if you look at the economic activity which is taking place, which should have otherwise consumed so much of hardware and all those things, with cloud and technologies like that, it is actually for this. If you look at holistically for the same workloads to run, I think we are doing it with much more lesser power. So in all this midst of the changes, right? Where do we really see ourselves, right? So where are the opportunities? I think people talked about fleet management, how to track the couriers. There are some other examples, Sony Music digitizing the whole content and things like that, right? But there are, if one has to really think afresh and look at in my company, where are the opportunities where I can really leverage these technologies and do a difference. So that is where I think I like this slide, which was published by McKinsey. So this clearly identifies the 5 areas where all this can make a lot of difference into your enterprise, right? First one, customer experience. I think there was a question also on that. So recently, I had opened my bank account. A person came to my home with a tablet, right? Took the photograph of my Aadhaar card, and in flat 10 minutes, I had my checkbook with my account number in my hand, right? So that is where the whole customer experience comes in, right? Obviously, in each of our enterprises, we have to see how we can really take it forward, right? Although it may look like it is more relevant in only consumer space, because naturally you have so many customers, you have to connect to so many of them. But I think we think hard, there could be a lot of use cases where you can change your customer experience even in a B2B space or from business to business, right? For example, we ourselves are trying to automate as many services which customers should be able to just deliver through the portal itself. No need for a whole physical orders and things like that moving to the system. Second is the process effectiveness itself, and this is another area where you can really. This process you see typically in every enterprise, whether it's product development, product and supply, sales, marketing, customer support, back office. Obviously, sales and marketing is the one which has already people have jumped on the bandwagon and already done that. CRM tools are available. There are SaaS stories which are there. So that has been the easier thing. But I am sure in your enterprise there are still more opportunities in other areas, right? Whether it's your back office processes or your product development, where one can effectively leverage all this digitization aspects. Thirdly, the business integration. You're talking to your within the companies itself, right? From your still this area is still unexplored, or rather it's going to mature. Where in some areas we have seen, for example, automobile, we have seen that the front end showrooms, their service centers are well connected through the dealer management systems to the manufacturing automobile manufacturing company. But similar cases I'm sure are possible in every enterprise. How we can connect to your business partners, to your outsourcers, to really make it a very smooth working, and there is a lot of value which can really be created by such a connection. Data and information, I think, is the most. I think I need not elaborate because I think it came even the panel. It came up multiple times. Data analytics, exactly knowing what your customer is doing, what he's looking for, and reaching out to him in time, or even for your own operational efficiencies. How are your resources getting utilized based on the business you are in? So I think that has been area which has been well understood. And last but not the least, I think new products and services itself, because there are some of the capabilities which this digital technologies bring in, which didn't exist before, right? For example, in banking, you have this mobile wallets. It didn't exist, right? It's all because of your mobility, coming together with cloud kind of technology at the back end, and where you are able to create a completely new product of mobile wallets, where you can pay from you can transfer money from one mobile to another, and so on and so forth. So clearly, I think if we think hard in our own industry, in our own, there will be some applications which will find even where one can create new products, around this, than just using these technologies as automation, automating the existing processes and systems. So I think these are some of the areas in SMAC. I think IoT also there has been discussion. Security goes hand in hand. Anything new comes in, there are it opens up its own risk as well. So these are some of the new areas we are looking at. Hybrid cloud being good adoption from customers, where we are able to connect. We are depending on customer workloads. We are able to give a complete solution on some workloads running on private, some bursting workloads running on public cloud, and so on and so forth. And as I go through the slides, I think I will also just track where you can really look at which kind of a cloud being suitable for your applications. Some statistics. I think I need not dwell too much on this. Clearly, there is a base reason why this is happening. We have seen, the initial adoption of public cloud more by people who just wanted some resources, take it and give it up, right? So it was a lot of development companies who want for a project, they want to develop a software. They take the public cloud resources, do it and give it up, right? A university which wants to announce its results, for a few months, they take it and give it up. But for the mainstream, industries, you cannot say that everything we can put onto a public cloud, because there are constraints as well. Some of them could be like their application software licensing, the way it works, right? Or it could be a purely compliance requirement from one of the government bodies, right? So all that factors basically leads to to leverage cloud. One have to look at the workloads and really split them. Some of them going on to for the compliant related thing can be on the private clouds, but the busting requirements or the marketing campaign related things can actually be put on the public cloud. So that is where that kind of typical enterprise requirement is really what is driving the adoption of hybrid cloud. So this is what we are realistically looking at. As a service provider, we interact with a lot of enterprises. We see what is changing on the ground. So we have seen, I think you may have also read this, the hardware sale, the market has been pretty much flat. So if you look at the servers or storage which is being sold, the growth has come down as low as 4 to 6%, right? But public cloud has been growing, and it has been in fact growing faster than the private cloud. So many private deals actually have a public cloud thing, and the replacement of proprietary platforms. This is a big change. Again, we are seeing, whenever there's a refresh coming up, I think we are seeing customers want either to move them to an open platform like a Intel, MS SQL and others, rather than sticking to a risk machine and things like that. Unless it is, unless you cannot do without it. I think there are certain core banking applications, and there could be some more such examples where you need to be running it on a particular kind of a system. But beyond that, we have seen even SAP systems, big time moving either to a dedicated open kind of platforms, or even into for smaller deployments, even into a public cloud. So that is a clear another trend. So effectively, we see that through the hybrid cloud may be an interim phase, but sometime ideally everybody wants to be in a situation where for all their workloads they want IT resources to be available on the fly, and they just want to take it and kind of leave it there. So it looks like a very busy slide, but I think if you just put focus on it, there are 4 stages which talks about the how one can go through the journey to the cloud. So the first one on the left side you see is the business needs. I think very important to identify, right? What is the business need? Is it that you want to quickly go to market? Is it new service? Is it you want to save costs thing? Or is it something else? Is it just the convenience of how you interact with your vendors and the SLAs and things like that? So that is the first important thing. That is where you based on that you check on what are the workloads which you want to move out, or where you want to leverage your cloud scenario. Second is you look at the integration and security challenges. So is there anything out of this which I cannot move because of security, compliance, and other reasons, right? After that, once you have arrived at which are the workloads, which are the candidates to really move to the cloud, that is when you look at out of this which have the busting requirements and which are fixed, right? So typically, public cloud is suitable for bursting requirements because for any application which has load bursts, it doesn't make sense to keep it either in a private cloud or in a dedicated setup because you cannot scale up. For example, there was our e-commerce companies hosted with us. They keep having this big sales, right? So if they rely purely on dedicated infrastructure during that sales peak load, I'm sure they're not going to be able to cater to that particular kind of a load which is coming in. So very important. Thirdly, one has to look at where you need bursting and where your loads are more fixed and flat kind of a thing. And fourthly, it cannot be a jump start. You need to really crawl, walk, and then run. So you try out with certain applications, then you move more mission critical ones, and then finally, when you are comfortable, one can really, have a complete strategy of having, moving most of the applications on. So that is broadly. So I think to help, one of the things we have seen with the growth in requirements. Just 1 minute I will spend on this. So we are NetMagic is coming up with a large data center. We have almost 300,000 square feet of gross space in Mumbai, Chandivali, and it will have capacity of almost 2,700 plus racks of infrastructure. And it is within the Mumbai limits because we strongly believe that the power infrastructure within the Mumbai islands, it is much better to host mission critical applications. So in fact, it's a complete independent 7-story building which we are building as a new data center, which will be available for for hosting from next month onwards. So that's all. Thank you very much for your time and attention.
Sir, could you please stay with us on stage?
Yeah.
Mr. Ibrahim Ahmed, may I request you to please join us on stage to hand over a memento to Mr. Mishra. Mr. Mishra, thank you very much, sir, for taking your time to be with us. Ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Ibrahim Ahmed handing over a memento to Mr. Mishra, Senior Vice President, Product Manager, Management, NetMagic. Please get your hands together once again, ladies and gentlemen, as Mr. Ahmed hands over the memento. Thank you very much, sir.